Our next speaker is Deborah Slifkin, Mark's daughter.
I'm not sure how I'm going to follow that, but I'll try. Good morning.
Hold it closer. Good morning.
For those of you who don't know me, I am Deborah Slifkin, and I am my father's daughter. Those of you who know me and my father know what I mean by that, and I am thinking some of the rest of you also know what I mean by that. Debbie, hold the mic. A little closer? Okay. I won't speak for long because I know as well as anyone that my father is not fond of being in the spotlight, even when he deserves to be. So I am the youngest of the Slifkin children. It's unusual for me to speak before my brother. Usually he gets the spotlight first. So I'm also the only girl, and I won't lie to you, being the youngest and the only girl had its advantages at times, particularly when I was very young. But this status did not exempt me from the basic Slifkin family rules. I will share with you two of those rules today. For the first one, I don't know that my brothers were ever subjected to running with my father. They could have been, but I was probably too focused on my personal dislike for running to hear any voice but my father's trying to motivate me. But let me tell you, a 12-year-old Deborah wanted nothing to do with running. So I would say the words, "I can't run," which is ridiculous because of course I could run, I just didn't want to. But I would use the word "can't," and this would irritate my father to no end. Can't is a very bad four-letter word, and this is a Slifkin rule violation. It's self-limiting, it's self-doubt, and when my father hears the word can't, he hears negativity. Can't is not a synonym for won't. So instead of testing the limits to see what I might be capable of, I would not even try. But many years later, I discovered that I actually can run. I've done marathons, I've done an Ironman, and at this point, I regret missing out on time in my childhood that I could have been running with my father. So now I don't see can't when I really mean won't, and that is Slifkin lesson number one. Lesson number two is related in a way, and it's this: there is no halfway. My father is one of the hardest working people I know, but it's not simply work ethic. It's that my father does not do anything halfway. He also doesn't let the people around him get away with doing things halfway, which I know can be annoying at times. I know 13-year-old daughters don't want to do any more than the bare minimum, and adults get busy in their lives and get pulled in 20 different directions. But the bare minimum does not cut it. Whether we're talking about education or providing for family or undertaking a massive project. My father doesn't know how to give less than his everything. And I know that I, for one, don't express my appreciation and gratitude for all he does often enough. So I'm grateful for this opportunity to stand up here for a few minutes and tell you how I aspire to be more like my father every day, and how I say with pride that I am my father's daughter.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And now, son Howard.
Thank you. First, I really wish we would have had some of Hal's and the rabbi's notes helping us better understand what he means when he said something. It would have made our young lives much better. And Deborah should have had champagne like I did before she did her speech. It would be much better. Well, good morning. As was said, my name's Howard Slifkin, same last name. He's my father. And we lived his guidance and his love every day. Very proud of him. This award is the accumulation of all of your hard work and dedication that you've put in over the years at the temple and with your family. So many achievements here. The temple is very lucky to have had and have my father volunteering and working and putting in all this effort. I think it really started with the rabbi and my father talking about the voluntary financial commitments. I think that really helped to grow the temple and to increase its membership and make it into the living, thriving temple that it is today. When my family was much younger, we were looking at joining a temple. So I filled out the long report, and the membership person made an appointment to meet with me and looked at me and accused me of lying on the form, saying, "You must make much more than this. You need to fill in a higher amount for your contribution." Needless to say, we never joined that temple. It was a much smaller town, so we unfortunately weren't able to join a temple as lovely as this when my kids were small. I can't be anywhere near as funny as Hal. So I found online 5 things that I think describe my father the best. Never explain, never complain. I can't remember a single time in my life that he put his personal interest in front of that, before that of his children. Don't rationalize. We all tend to rationalize. Never underestimate the ability of the human mind to rationalize, particularly as a parent, a husband, or a wife. Half of life is just being there. And just as Deborah has said, and Richard, he was always there when we needed him in every phase of our life. Fit-in family. I'm sorry about that. Match your expectations of your time. Children tend to become that which you expect of them. But you can't expect much if you aren't there. And he was always there. So, thank you very much.
Thanks, Howard. That's great. Mark obviously has a really great family. And what I'd like to do, our final speaker is going to be Arlene. And before we do that, I just wanted to go through a little bit on Arlene, okay? So just who is Arlene Slifkin? Number one, she's very attentive, and she notices things, and she's always there to help guide Mark. And here his scroll might have been open, of course it was. So who is Arlene Slifkin? There's really nothing else to say. So I will tell you this, Arlene did prepare a really nice biography on Mark and sent all these pictures, and the theme was supposed to be, people think all Mark does is worry about the temple. I want people to know he does other things. All right? And I gotta tell you, I took liberty with most of those pictures, but I did want to end with the intent and the spirit of what Arlene wanted for this day. Okay? So I'm going to show you some of those pictures that show that Mark does other things and doesn't just think about the temple. Here's Mark skiing. It's really cold here. Reminds me, I wonder how much temple air conditioner controls are going to cost. I'm not sure what Mark was doing here, but I'm sure he was thinking these pants are too short. That reminds me, I wonder how the douche capital campaign is going. Pretty sure Mark's thinking here, it's really wet. Reminds me, I wonder if the rabbi's bathroom is on schedule. And as Deborah mentioned, Mark runs. I'm pretty sure he was thinking this, look, I can pull this guy around by his nose. That reminds me, I need to prepare a presentation for the board. I'm only kidding. All right, now, part 6. Now we're going to get to the really good stuff about Mark. The really good stuff. You ready? Mark Slifkin is a man who loves to travel, a man who loves a good time, a man who loves his family, a loyal friend, a man who supports his temple and community, a bright, talented, and dedicated man, an all-around good guy, a man of the years. Thank you, Mark Slifkin, for all you do. You deserve this honor this year, and you're very, very well done. So before we end the presentation, I have been asked by Elizabeth, we do need to include a picture of today's event in the scribe. It seems we have 2 pictures. I just want you guys to tell me which one you think we should use. We have the Republican version, and we have the Democrat version. So you just let me know before we end which one you think might be more accurate.